Hey guys, hello to all of you. I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Amelia ASMR Amelia B. And today we are going to be reading the first chapter of The Screaming Staircase. The Screaming Staircase. English is not working today. Okay, so if you're here from YouTube and not from TikTok, go check out my TikTok, ASMR_Amelia B. Yeah. I don't know if that sounds good. Okay, so again, tell me in the comments whether or not I should whisper or talk lightly. I personally like soft spoken, but if you guys like whispering, I will do whispering. Or I could do it like on and off, you know? But anyway, on to the first chapter. Okay. Of the first few hauntings I investigated with Lockwood and Co, I intend to say little, in part to protect the identity of the victims, in part because of the gruesome nature of the incidents, but mainly because, in a variety of ingenious ways, we succeeded in messing them all up. There, I've admitted it. Not a single one of those early cases ended as neatly as we'd wished. Yes, the Morley court was driven out, but only as far as Richmond Park, where even now it stalks by night among the silent trees. Yes, both of the Grey Spectre and Aldgate and the identity known as the Clattering Bones were destroyed, but not before several further and I now think unnecessary deaths. And as far as the creeping shadow that haunted Miss Andrews, to the imperilment of her sanity and her hemline, wherever she may continue to wander in this world, the poor thing, there it follows too. So it was not exactly an unblemished record that we took with us, Lockwood and I, when we walked up to the path of 62 Sheen Road on that misty autumn afternoon and briskly rang the bell. We stood on the doorstep with our backs to the muffled traffic and Lockwood's gloved right hand clasped upon the bell pull. Deep in the house, the echoes faded. I gazed at the door, at the small sun blisters on the varnish and the scuffs on the letterbox, at the 4 diamond panes of the frosted glass that showed nothing beyond except for darkness. I'm sorry for any background noise. My grandma's like 93, so anyway. The porch had a forlorn and unused air, its corners choked with the same sodden beech leaves that littered the path and lawn. Okay, I said, remember our new rules. Don't blab about everything you see. Don't speculate openly about who killed who, how, or when. And above all, don't impersonate the client. Please, it never goes down well. That's an awful lot of don'ts, Lucy, Lockwood said. I've plenty more. You know, I've got an excellent ear for accents. I copy people without thinking. Fine, copy them quietly after the event, not loudly, not in front of them, and particularly not when they're a 6'6" Irish dock worker with a speech impediment and we're a good half mile from Public Road. Yes, he really was quite nimble for his size, Lockwood said. Still, the chase keeps us fit. Sense anything? Not yet, but I'm hardly likely to out here. You? He let go of the bell pull and made some minor adjustment to the collar of his coat. Oddly enough, I have. There was a death in the yard sometime in the last few hours, under that laurel halfway up the path. I assume you're going to tell me it's only a smallish glow. My head was tilted to one side, my eyes half closed. I was listening to the silence of the house. Yes, well, mouse-sized, Lockwood admitted. Suppose it might have been a vole. I expect a cat got it or something. So, possibly not part of our case then, if it was a mouse. Probably not. Beyond the frosted panes in the interior of the house, I espied movement, something shifting in the hall's black depths. Here we go, I said. She's coming. Remember what I said. Lockwood bent his knees and picked up the duffel bag beside his feet. We moved back a little, preparing pleasant, respectful smiles. We waited. Nothing happened. The door stayed shut. There was no one here. There was no one there. As Lockwood opened his mouth to speak, we heard footsteps behind us on the path. I'm so sorry, the woman emerging from the mists had been walking slowly, but as we turned, she accelerated into a token little trot. I'm so sorry, she repeated. I was delayed. I didn't think you'd be so prompt. Also, the author is British, so yeah. She spied the steps, a short, well-padded individual with round face expanding into middle age. Her straight, ash blonde hair was pulled back into a no-nonsense manner by clips above her ears. She wore a long black skirt, a crisp white shirt, and an enormous wool cardigan with sagging pockets at its sides. She carried a thin folder in one hand. Miss Hope, I said. Good evening, madam. My name is Lucy Carlyle, and this is Anthony Lockwood of Lockwood and Company. We've come about your call. Okay. The woman halted on the topmost step but one, and regarded us with wide gray eyes in which all the usual emotions figured: distrust, resentment, uncertainty, and dread. They were all there. They come standard on our profession, so we didn't take it personally. Her gaze darted back and forth between us, taking in our neat clothes and carefully brushed hair, our polished rapiers glittering at our belts, the heavy bags we carried. It lingered long on our faces. She made no move to go past us to the door of the house. Her free hand was thrust deep into the pocket of her cardigan, forcing the fabric down. Just the two of you? She said at last. Just us, I said. You're very young. Lockwood ignited his smile. Its warmth lit up the evening. That's actually the idea, Miss Hope. That's the way it has to be. Actually, I'm not Miss Hope. Her own wan smile summoned an involuntary response to Lockwood's, flickering across her face and vanished, leaving anxiety behind. I'm her daughter, Susie Martin. I'm afraid Mother isn't coming, but we arranged to meet her. She's going to show us around the house. I know, the woman said, looking down at her smart black shoes. I'm afraid she's no longer willing to set foot here. The circumstances of Father's death were horrible enough, but recently the nightly disturbances have been getting too persistent. Last night was especially bad, and Mother had decided that she'd had enough. She's staying with me for now. We'll have to sell, but obviously we can't do that until the house is made safe. Her eyes narrowed slightly, which is why you're here. Excuse me, but shouldn't you have a supervisor? I thought an adult always had to be present in an investigation. Exactly how old are you? Old enough and young enough, Lockwood said, smiling. The perfect age. Strictly speaking, madam, I added, the law states that an adult is only required if the operatives are undergoing training. It's true that some of the bigger agencies always use supervisors, but that's their private policy. We're fully qualified and independent, and we don't find it necessary. In our experience, Lockwood said sweetly, adults just get in the way. But of course, we do have our licenses here if you'd like to see them. The woman ran a hand across the smooth surface of her neat blonde hair. No, that won't be necessary. Since Mother clearly wanted you, I'm sure it'll be fine. Her voice was neutral and uncertain. There was a brief silence. Thank you, madam. I glanced back up the quiet waiting door. There's just one other thing. Is someone else at home? When we rang the bell, I thought. Her eyes rose rapidly, met mine. No, that's quite impossible. I have the only key. I see. I must have been mistaken. Well, I won't delay you, Miss Martin said. Mother's filled out the form you sent her. She held out the manila folder. She hopes it'll be useful. I'm sure it will. Lockwood tucked it somewhere inside his coat. Thank you very much. Well, we better get started. Tell your mother we'll be in touch in the morning. The woman handed him a ring of keys. Somewhere on the road, a car horn blared, to be answered by another. There was plenty of time until curfew, but night was falling and people were growing antsy. They wanted to get home. Soon there'd be nothing moving in the streets of London but trails of mist and twisting moonbeams. Or nothing, at least, that any adult could clearly see. Susie Martin was conscious of this too. She raised her shoulders, pulling her cardigan tight. Well, I'd better get going. I suppose I should wish you luck. She looked away. So very young. How terrible what the world has come to this. I mean, yeah. But, good night, Mrs. Martin. Lockwood said. Without reply, she pattered down the steps. In a few seconds, she had vanished among the mists and laurels in the direction of the road. She's not happy. I think we'll be off the case tomorrow morning. Better get it solved tonight then, Lockwood said. Ready? I patted the hilt of my rapier. Ready. He grinned at me, stepped back to the door, and with a magician's flourish, turned the key in the lock. When entering a house occupied by a visitor, it's always best to get in quick. That's one of the first rules you learn. Never hesitate. Never linger on a threshold. Why? Because for those first few seconds, it's not too late. You stand there in the doorway with the fresh air on your back and the darkness up ahead, and you'd be an idiot if you didn't want to turn around and run. And as soon as you acknowledge that, your willpower starts draining away through your boots, and the terror starts building in your chest. Bang. That's it. You're compromised before you even began. Lockwood and I both knew this, so we didn't hang around. We slipped straight through, put down our bags, and shut the door softly behind us. Then we stood quite still with our backs against it, watching and listening side by side. The hall of the house, lately occupied by Mr. and Mrs. Hope, was long and relatively narrow, though the high ceiling made it seem quite large. The floor was tiled in black and white marble squares set diagonally, and the walls were palely papered. Halfway along, a steep staircase rose into the shadows. The hall kinked around this to the left and continued into a void of black. Doorways opened on either side, gaping and choking choked in darkness. All of which would have been nicely illuminated if we turned on the lights, of course. And there was a switch on the wall right there. But we didn't attempt to use it. You see, a second rule you learn is this: electricity interferes. It dulls the senses and makes you stupid and weak. It's much better to listen in the dark. It's good to have that fear. We stood in silence, doing what we do. I listened, Lockwood watched. It was cold in the house. The air had that musty, slightly sour smell you get in every unloved place. I leaned in close to Lockwood. No heeding, I whispered, Something else too, you think? As my eyes grew used to the dark, I saw more details. Beneath the curl of the banister was a little polished table on which sat a china bowl of potpourri. There were pictures on the wall, mostly faded posters of old-time musicals and photographs of rolling hills and gentle seas. All pretty innocuous. In fact, it wasn't at all an ugly hallway. In bright sunlight, it might have looked quite pleasant. But not so much now. With the last light from the door panes stretching out like skewed coffins on the floor in front of us, and with our shadows neatly framed beside them, and with all the manner of old Mr. Hope's death in this very place hanging heavy on our minds. I breathed hard to calm myself down and shut out the morbid thoughts. Then I closed my eyes against the taunting darkness and listened. Halls, landings, and staircases are the arteries and airways of any building. It's there that everything is channeled. You get echoes of things currently going on in all the connecting rooms. Sometimes you also get other noises that, strictly speaking, ought to not be there at all. Echoes of the past. Echoes of hidden things. This was one such time. I opened my eyes, picked up my bag, and walked slowly down the hall toward the stairs. Lockwood is already standing by the little polished table beneath the banister. His face shone dimly in the light from the door. Heard something? He said. Yep. What? A little knocking sound. Comes and goes. It's very faint. I can't tell where it's coming from, but it'll get stronger. It's scarcely dark yet. What about you? He pointed at the bottom of the stairs. You remember what happened to Mr. Hope, of course. Fell down the stairs and broke his neck. Exactly. Well, there's a tremendous residual death glow right here. It's still lingering 3 months after he died. I should have brought my sunglasses, it's so bright. So what Mrs. Hope told George on the phone stacks up. Her husband tripped and tumbled down the stairs and hit the ground. Hard. Long, steep flight. Nasty way to go. I bent low, squinting at the floor in the half-dark. Yeah, look how the tiles have cracked. He must have fallen with tremendous. 2 sharp crashes sounded on the stairs. Air moved violently against my face. Before I could react, something large, soft, and horribly heavy landed precisely where I stood. The impact of it jarred my teeth. I jumped back, ripping my rapier from my belt. I stood against the wall, weapon raised and shaking, heart clawing at my chest, eyes staring wildly side to side. Nothing. The stairs were empty. No broken body sprawled lifelessly on the floor. Lockwood leaned casually against the banister. It was too dark to be certain, but I swear he raised an eyebrow. He hadn't heard a thing. You all right, Lucy? I breathed hard. No, just got an echo of Mr. Hope's last fall. It was very loud and very real. It was like he'd landed right on top of me. Don't laugh, it's not funny. Sorry. Well, something's stirring early tonight. It's going to get interesting later. What time is it? Having a watch with luminous dial is my 3rd recommended rule. It's best if it can also withstand sudden drops in temperature and strong as ectoplasmic shock. Not yet 5, I said. Fine. Lockwood's teeth weren't quite as luminous as my watch, but when he grins, it's close. Plenty of time for a cup of tea. Then we find ourselves a ghost. That was chapter 1. Comment down below any video requests you guys want. I am not sure how long we'll usually make these. This is about 16 and a half minutes, but tell me if you liked it. And if you stayed till the end, thank you. Might I add that this book can be triggering to some people, so if you didn't like this chapter, then don't watch these videos. I have a TikTok account where I do more stuff like this. Well, not like this, but ASMR. So make sure to like and subscribe if you stayed this far. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!